Hey everyone, welcome to Princess Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with more One Piece, episodes 1040 and on. Like last time, we are just going to be taking it as we go. I wasn't sure when I was going to get to this again, but I woke up this morning and was just thinking to myself, like, okay, there's a couple things I'm really in the mood for today, and one of them is One Piece, and it's like, should I just try to focus on the things that are like on the official schedule, or should I actually get to that? And so I decided, you know what, let's do both. So I recorded, as you could see, I also recorded Masters of the Universe today, but I'm also doing this because I wanted to get to more, because I really noticed last time when I was recording the last reaction that I really, really missed this series. Like, I had been watching Rough Senpai's reactions on Patreon for it, but those are episodes I had already seen and everything, so it's not quite the same. This is new content for me. And as I stated last time, it's like, yes, I know a couple things going forward because One Piece fans fucking suck with spoilers. They will spoil you no matter what. They don't give a shit. And by the way, that does include big One Piece YouTubers. Like, they are not exempt from that. Like, they will spoil shit too. Um, but yeah, so as I said last time, I'm just kind of like taking up the idea that if I end up getting spoiled, I probably won't be too mad about it, but I'm still going to try to avoid spoilers as much as I can. I'm not going to look them out or anything. I'm going to avoid them. But if I do end up getting spoiled on one or two things here and there, then it's not really something I can help anymore. Because you can't even like block like the word One Piece on Twitter and expect that to work, because people don't won't use the title in their tweets, and it's like you would have to block literally any word or phrase or whatnot that could even slightly relate. But the problem is, some of the stuff might be stuff that you wouldn't be able to guess because it's newer stuff. So it's like, oh my god. And it would take too long to block like every character name, every phrase. It's not worth it. Again, I'm going to try my best to avoid spoilers as much as I can, but if something slips through, it won't kill me. So there are a couple things I do know. I don't know all the context behind them or anything. I just know a couple things. So there is that. But most of it I am still blind on. That was definitely proven last time with Tama's impact and everything. I had no idea that was going to happen. Though I could kind of guess based on the past, based on the fact that that they were getting all of the Kibidango to the gifters. But at the same time, it's like I didn't know it was going to play out like that. I didn't know that it was going to be given such a big moment. Like, it was very much focused on. Like, the animation was upscaled a little bit during that. The visuals very much painted Tama as basically one of the major heroes of this arc. Like I said last time, it's like she's kind of the true MVP of Wano. Her plan here at Onigashima completely turns the tide of this war. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where this all goes. Luffy has been rescued. Shinobu and Momo are okay. And Onigashima has begun to fly over the mainland of Wano. Yamato has challenged his father. Things are happening. That's the best way to put it. Things are happening. Alti might be dead. I kind of hope she's not dead because I like her so much, but at the same time, she might be dead. uh, but anywho, yeah, I'm I'm very much just right back into this. Like I said, that about 4 month break we took was I think very smart because even though I probably would have been fine and probably could have kept going, it did refresh me in such a way where I'm like really fucking excited again. And again, this has been while I've been continuing to watch the series with Rough Senpai's reactions and all, so it's not like I've been entirely away from One Piece. But just the break I've had from new episodes has been just it's gotten my appetite more wet than ever. I am I'm much more excited than I would be if I just had kept going. So, yeah, I think that was a good idea. Obviously, I won't need a break like all the time or anything. It's just with how long we had been reacting to it prior to that, back when we were playing catch up, and just even how long we had been reacting to it weekly, pretty much. It's just I feel like it was a good decision. Even if I wouldn't have gotten burnout, it was a good decision. I stand by it. And yeah, this will be put on the full schedule one way or another once we catch up. Um, and you may be like a little confused by that, and I understand because it's kind of confusing for me too. But basically, the idea is this is not on the official like regular schedule right now, but at the same time it is kind of like playing by the same rules as I get to it whenever I get to it. Whenever I feel like I want to get to these reactions, I do. um, but I think the thing that kind of sets it apart is because we're doing such big reactions. It's like these big lump reactions to this, um, instead of just doing one or two episodes at a time. Like for our normal, regular, scheduled reactions, we do one or two episodes at a time, depending on the series and, different factors in that regard. But with this, it's like we're doing like three, four episodes, something like that. It's like that kind of sets it apart a little bit. Once we get caught up, it'll obviously be one episode a week again. Um, and like I kind of said last time, once we get caught up, if I have to put in a seventh slot again, I can. I wasn't really planning on it, but if something ends right around the same time, if like a series I have is gonna end around that time and it just works out, then I'll just put it in there. Um, I could probably even make that work, like just by stretching something out or whatnot. But we'll see. We'll see. Because if that works, I can just put it in that slot. Um, and that will work out. That will work out well. In fact, looking at my schedule here, with what I'm currently reacting to, uh, Stone Ocean's not quite gonna finish soon. Symphogear is on the verge at this point. So is Masters of the Universe, but that one's a poll show. Symphogear is a donation reward, but we also have 3 donation rewards at the moment currently going. So I think there's something else, but let me bring up the other document that I didn't have up yet. um Doom Patrol is close. But I had a plan for after Doom Patrol finished. Fire Force we just started. So both Doom Patrol and Symphogear are close to finishing. And so maybe once one of them finishes, I can just slip One Piece into that slot. And the other one, I'll just enact the plan I already had. Um Now remember, the Impressions continuation slot that was taken up, that was replaced by Fire Force, so that's still not going to continue until after that. Or at least until we take a break from Fire Force. But yeah, One Piece will probably either replace Doom Patrol or Symphogear. One of the two. Hmm. Yeah, that seems about right. Anyway, anyway, little off topic there, but yeah, I'm excited to get to more of this. Hopefully you're excited as well. So let's just do so. When the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode, or episodes. So, with that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So I wanted to look up something real quick, because I wanted to know what Okuchi no Makami meant. That is the model, the mythical zone model of Yamato's Devil Fruit that Kaido mentioned. The Inu Inu no Mi model Okuchi no Makami. So Okuchi no Makami means large-mouthed true god. It is the deification of the extinct Japanese gray wolf. So an extinct, breed of wolf that was once worshipped in Japan as a guardian of humans. So, yeah. That makes sense. Like, the guardian deity part was also mentioned in this, with Okuchi no Makami being the guardian of Wano, which, Wano being obviously a direct parallel to Japan makes sense. And yeah, obviously you could see the K9 inspiration in the design there. And it's just like, okay, so it's just a dog, or a wolf. It is a wolf, specifically. Not like a fox or anything. It could have been, like, it's kind of in the same family, kind of. It's similar enough, at least. But no, it was just straight up a wolf. Um, I I really want to see like the full extent of the powers because the form that he's in right now, that Yamato is in, seems to be like a half point form. Like that doesn't seem like it's still very humanoid, very anthropomorphic. I feel like the full form would probably be kind of like a giant mythical wolf, like not like still humanoid at all. So this is probably the half point form, but it also makes sense considering he's fighting Kaido, who's also currently in his half point form. Um, and honestly, I'm fine with it because he looks fucking pretty as hell. Like, again, this set of episodes was just filled with like attractiveness up the wazoo. And yes, I just said wazoo. Um, like you even have the character who I have stated in the past to be an unusual attractive character for me, like one of those characters that you don't usually think of as being attractive, but at least for me, I do find him attractive, and that's Jinbei. And I don't care if anyone like tries to judge me for that. It's like I stand by that. I find him attractive. I think he's kind of hot. Um, but then you also have Robin and Black Maria, and both of them are fucking gorgeous. Like Black Maria is a piece of shit. Don't get me wrong, but you can't deny she is stunning. And during most of this fight so far, she's just had her tits out and everything, pretty much. I mean, only covered by some bandages. Um, so it's like, Jesus fuck, lady. Like, we get it. You're fucking hot. And then, of course, Robin, who, as I stated in the reaction, is like one of the hottest characters in the series, without question for me. I've always been extremely attracted to Robin. Like, look at it this way. I started watching One Piece when the Four Kids dub first started airing in the early 2000s. When I was basically a kid, keep that in mind. I was like a preteen when it started. Um, and I don't know exactly when they got to Alabasta originally, but I was still like, I assume, a teenager. Um, when I first saw Robin, like, Robin was probably one of my earliest examples of my sexual awakening. It sounds silly, but I'm completely serious here. Like, people talk about that all the time, about like discovering characters growing up in cartoons or whatnot, where it's like, this character was my sexual awakening. It's like, this character made me realize that I am very into attractive people. And some people, like, will talk, especially queer people will talk about this. I've seen on social media, they'll like say like, this character was my sexual awakening and made me realize I like girls. For I've seen a lot of women say that on social media, and I've seen a lot of guys say the same thing with male characters. It's like, and that's awesome. That's nothing to be ashamed about, or nothing to be embarrassed about. That's awesome. It's like, you realized a lot about yourself through that. And there were definitely characters like that for me, because obviously at that time in my life I identified as male, because I had not even realized what being trans was at that point. Um, and I was definitely, raised into being ashamed of liking things that weren't typically masculine. So yeah, it's just, that's a whole thing I'm not going to get into here. Um, but there were male characters who I discovered through, well, anime very early, that made me question a lot about myself. And now that I look back, very much were the earliest signs of me knowing that I was queer, just without really acknowledging it. James from Pokemon was a big one for me growing up, and so was Kurama from Yu Yu Hakusho. Those two were like huge for me. And Yu Yu Hakusho, I think, was right around the same time, wasn't it, as the One Piece 4 Kids dub? I think that came out I think the dub for Yu Yu Hakusho came out in the early 2000s. I think. I'm not 100% on that, but I think so. Either way, it was I was definitely watching it around that time. And yeah, I was very attracted to Kurama and to James in Pokemon. And I could not articulate that, though, at the time, because, again, how I was raised and what I viewed myself as at the time didn't mesh with that idea. Like, when I was that age, gay was used as a derogatory slur in schools. And so it's like, I did not even consider the idea that I could be queer at all. It never really passed my mind. I never thought about it, because I didn't want to think about it, because I was raised to think that that was bad, which, is fucked up. But so it's like, getting to embrace that nowadays. It's like having, like, in these episodes, two male characters I am very much attracted to, and two female characters I am very much attracted to in these episodes. And there's technically more than just them. Like, I'm attracted to Luffy as well, but but those are the big notable ones for these episodes specifically. Um, Jinbei and Yamato for the guys, and for the girls, we have Robin and Black Maria. And so it's just, I just, I'm really happy. like really fucking happy that I'm at a point in my life where I can acknowledge this openly and not only not get like severely judged or mistreated because of it, but where I can feel comfortable just being myself in this regard, where I can just celebrate the fact that, yeah, I'm pansexual, that I like people regardless of their gender, that if someone's hot to me, they're hot to me. It's like I don't give a shit about like what their gender is or whatnot. Um, if they're hot, they're hot. And I like that I'm in that place. It feels good to be in that place in my life. And with this series, with Robin's character being kind of a big sexual awakening for me. Like, even if I had seen, like, Pokemon and Yu Yu Hakusho and all before, and already had, like, seen James and Kurama and everything, it's like Robin was without question the one that really, like, awakened me in that regard. Like, she's the character that, like, when she first appears in the series, um, she just, like, does everything for me. And that still stays true to this day. Like, having seen those scenes again in Whiskey Peak in Alabasta when she first appears, it's like, she is stunning. She's absolutely stunning. One of the hottest characters in probably anything for me. Right up there with the likes of Korra. And it's like, I just... And on top of that, her personality and her character and her backstory, everything about her just also makes her exceptionally likable. And just this character I really, really fucking love. And it's like all of this combined has made her my favorite character in this series. Pretty much since Eni's Lobby. It was Eni's Lobby, especially with the backstory and the I want to live moment. That is what really, like, solidified her as my favorite character. And that was so long ago within the episode count. It's wild to think that she has not been able to be, like, beaten out by any other character for me. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of other characters in this series I love, but Robin has remained my number one. And it's not even been close for her to be dethroned in that regard until Wano. Wano gave me two characters that actually got into her range for me. Both Kiku and Yamato. And yes, part of that is because of them being trans. That very much affects things. I will not lie. I have a bias. But also, not only are they trans, but they're also extremely attractive. Like, I am extremely attracted to both of them. And I also fucking adore their characters. Yamato is absolute baby, and I want to see him safe, you know? I want to see him safe and protected and loved, and God, he is just amazing. And Kiku is like, Kiku's best girl of Wano, without question. Like, there's other great female characters from this arc, such as Hiyori and whatnot, and Tama, obviously. But Kiku is just... she's just so amazing, and I love her so much. She's strong, but she's also very kind and loving. She's smart, but she also is naive enough to make mistakes when it comes to her friends and family. She's emotional, but she's also a badass. It's like she's the best of all worlds. And it's like, the fact that Kiku and Yamato have genuinely gotten this close to usurping the throne of my favorite One Piece character from Robin is insane to me. Because again, it's the first time in this entire series since Eni's Lobby that anyone's even gotten close to doing so. And honestly, I could fully see either of them taking that spot. So we'll just have to see how this plays out, but Robin might not be my number one by the end of Wano. If I had to pick one of the other two that I think has the best chance of surpassing her, it would definitely be Yamato. Like, I love Kiku, and obviously as a trans girl, I do connect with her a little more than I do with Yamato in that regard. But Yamato as a character is so bloody likable to me, like lovable to me, that it's just like, he is that close to taking my top spot from Robin. Like, as it is, he is that close. And I know, I know for like these 15 minutes now I've been recording these afterthoughts. I've been talking about nothing but this stuff, but it's like, this has had an impact on me, without question. These characters, it's like, they're more than just, hot. They've had an impact on me with their character and with the depth, and it was made very apparent in this episode. And it's not just the conventionally attractive ones either. Like I said, the unconventional choice with Jinbei. Like, even outside of just the fact that I do find him hot, it's like, did you see him in these episodes, in this set? Did you see him totally own the fuck out of Who's Who? Just how badass and cool he was? Like, how he just completely rebutted that blatant racism? It's like, god damn, Jinbei. It's like, I've loved Jinbei for a long time, but god damn, he is just like, honestly, Whole Cake Island and now Wano have shot him up so much further for me. Like, I loved him before, but god damn. It's just an insane amount of awesome moments in these episodes. You have Frankie fighting Sasaki and just overcoming the odds. You have Luffy being rescued. You have fucking Caribou returning. What the fuck was that? Why? Oh, it's just so insane. And now Luffy's saying, like, oh, Momo, turn into a dragon and fly us back up there. It's like, yeah, that makes sense. That's what I was saying. And you still have the fallout from the gifters all turning against the beast pirates. Everything going on with that. Because Tama's awesome and the true MVP of this arc and this war. Not my favorite character necessarily, but she's the MVP, let's be honest. Like, she has turned this around. And then we find out about the sun god Nika. And it's like, if you think that that's just a throwaway line from Who's Who, it's like, fuck that. No, obviously not. Like, that was so excessively important, and it felt so excessively important, that it's like, yeah, this, like, the way that they made that scene come across in the anime here, I don't know how it was done in the manga, but the way they made it come across in the anime, it's like, oh, this is up there with the level of the Void Century in terms of importance. That's how fucking important that was. And we're only going to find out from here what that means. But I will say I know something about it. I know something in regards to this. I won't tell you what. But it was another thing that I just happened to find out through social media. Because, again, people don't avoid spoilers in the One Piece fandom. Or avoid spoiling others, I should say. So it is something that I found out about, but again, I don't know all the details surrounding it. So I'm just letting you know, I'm just being transparent with you. I do know something about it that has not obviously been revealed yet. Um, but yeah, it's like everything is just like going so well right now. Zoro's about to be back in action. Sanji's been holding off Queen. It's like, oh, I can't wait to see what we get next. And we're catching up because that was like 1043, right? That we just did. We did 1040, 1041, 1042, and 1043. Yeah, because we did 4 episodes. So there's only 1049 as of when I'm recording this still. 1050 does come out this weekend, I believe, unless there's a week off or something. But I should be catching up pretty soon. If we keep doing like 4 episodes at a time, which I'm fine with. If we keep doing that, we should be catching up pretty soon. Like very soon. Because if we do 4 more episodes, that'll lead to 1047. And there's like 2 more after that. So we'll be able to catch up in 2 more videos, basically. And like I said in the pre-thoughts, looking at the schedule, it's like we'll probably be able to fit it in to either the Doom Patrol or the Symphogear slot. And we only have 1 Doom Patrol episode left because we did 7 and 8 this week. So it might just work best to fit it into that slot. That might work the best in that regard. But we'll see. We'll see. It depends on when I want to get to the finale of that compared to when I end up finishing off Symphogear. I think I'm going to end up finishing Doom Patrol before Symphogear, though, for sure. As much as I'm very much enjoying Symphogear and, like, loving getting to more and more episodes, it's like, I think I'm still going to end up finishing off Doom Patrol first, because Symphogear has 4 more episodes I have to get to. So keeping that in mind. But yeah, either way. The last thing I want to touch on, though, before we end this, is I do want to touch real quick on the really fucked up thing Black Maria did. The fog that extracts and materializes the memories and everything. Like, it disguises Black Maria's goons as people from their past and all. It's like, oh my god, that is fucked up. Like, Brooke going through, seeing the Rumbar Pirates, Captain Yorkie, Laboon, and all of them. Like, Jesus. And him mentioning, like, how much trauma and pain he went through when they died. And him having to deal with, like, wishing and hallucinating that they were alive for so long after that while stuck on the ship as a skeleton and everything. It's like, Jesus fuck. and Robin getting to see Professor Clover, her mother, Saw, and all again, and having to deal with the fact that it's like, again, she knows that they're dead. She was there. So having to deal with all of that again, and the pain of what that did to her and how it affected her life and made her completely uncaring about her own life. Like, she had no sense of self-preservation and was willing to die. She, in a similar way to Ace, and even Sanji in Whole Cake Island, like, she had kind of given up on her own self-worth. You might remember I made that AMV that featured her, Sanji, Ace, all of that, with the song Love Me When I Don't. It's like, that's very fitting because she didn't love herself for a very long time. She was so traumatized by the erasure of O'Hara that it destroyed her. And through finding friendship and family with the Straw Hats, she was able to overcome that. So was Brooke. He was able to find a desire to live again. And it's like Robin noted, they're surprisingly similar. It's something I don't think I've ever thought about before. I genuinely don't think I've ever thought about that, but they are super similar. Like, yeah, the specific events are different, but they both went through horrific tragedy where they lost the people closest to them, their friends and family who they cared greatly for. They were taken from them well before their time. They were forced to be alone for years upon years and found purpose again with the Straw Hats. They're very similar. And so pointing that out in this episode, like, just blew me away, kind of. And even gives me a little bit of a newfound, like, higher appreciation for Brooke. And I already love Brooke. I love all of the Straw Hats. But, like, Brooke was definitely lower on the list for me. And he still probably is, but I have a better appreciation for him than I think I did before. Seeing him go through this again here and seeing that similarity kind of in action and everything, it's just like, yeah, I get it. I get him a little more now. I even get his insistence on constantly cracking jokes and everything. It's a coping mechanism. It's a fucking coping mechanism because he's so fucking traumatized. And it's like, Jesus, I get it. So that was another thing in these episodes I really loved. And like I said, I had seen the giant Robin form before. I've seen plenty of fan art of that. So I already knew that was a thing. And God, she's so fucking hot. She's so pretty. Like, the giant, mostly naked form of her, it's like, yes, please. But obviously I chose Yamato as my thumbnail because, Yamato. And also because, getting to see his devil fruit form is kind of a big deal. So, yeah. Either way, I'm very excited for what's to come. This is going to get even crazier. We just know it. It's going to get even crazier before this arc ends. So, let me know down in the comments below. What did you think of these 4 episodes of One Piece? What did you think of Brooke and Robin being so similar? And, who's who bringing up the sun god Nika? And how important that clearly was, especially considering the guard who told him was executed for telling him. It's like, Jesus. Let me know your thoughts on all of that, on Yamato's transformed state, all of that down in the comments below. For now, though, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.